everyone, how's it going? Justin Mickle, CEO and co-founder of NutriCompass, here with episode number 2 of Zero to One Podcast. I'm here with Sam Maken. Are you CEO or are you just the owner of Maken Media?
I'm both. I mean, like, I'm trying to get out of that to where it's just the founder, right? But right now it's everything.
Okay, so founder of Maken Media, dude. Like, all right, um, Sam is usually behind the camera, so him being in front of the camera is kind of a different, than what his normal day job is.
Yo,
But when it comes to going 0 to 1, I think Sam's done kind of like next level shit, like a top percentile of entrepreneurs as far as where he's at. Like Sam, do you mind giving people like a little bit of about
yeah,
what you
totally.
do?
So basically, what we do now is we're just a digital marketing agency that we do all social media strategy, production, paid ads, funnels, and then yeah, pretty much. I mean, we got scope creep issues, so whatever the client needs. But it started out as just kind of videography, and I was doing it in the solar industry. And from there, we kind of moved into that was really volatile. And so we went into e-com. And so then I got to work with like some pretty cool people like Kevin O'Leary, Real Housewives, Mario Lopez. And it was really just a lot of kind of when brands want to collab with a celebrity, they'll kind of call me up for like high production social media content.
Rock on. Okay, so you worked with Kevin O'Leary. You worked with
Mhm.
Shark Tank then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What the fuck was that like? Like, what? Can you tell me the story about it?
So initially, I'm white labeled out under a ton of different agencies. So this was a friend of mine, Brandon. I do all of his production for his entire agency, and basically he told me he goes, "Hey, tomorrow, would you be able to get to Arizona?" And I was in San Diego at the time. I go, it's like 5 p.m., bro. What do I need to be there for? He goes, "Oh well." If you want, we do need to do a shoot for Kevin O'Leary. And I was like, I'll be there, bro. I'll be there. So I packed up all my stuff, drove through the night, didn't get to sleep at all, got there, and then the first time shooting him, I get there, no sleep, setting up everything. And it's kind of like, you don't really it's not like you're hanging out with Kevin. Pretty much he has because he has such a tight schedule. So you get there, you set up everything, they show you where the shots are going to be. You have to make it look as good as you can. And then because he's on such a tight schedule, you have to preset all of your settings. So I have literally one right here. So you have to set all of your settings for him before he gets there from location A, location B, and C. And then basically when he gets there, he walks in. I'm like, okay, Kevin, here's your mic, right? He's like, okay, cool. And then it's like action, one take, done. He nails it. And we go to the next one, switch my settings, and then another take, another take. The whole shoot, I drove all the way there, didn't sleep. Whole shoot was about 20 minutes the first time. And then you just sit there. And there was another guy who came in. I didn't know who it was, but he came in. He goes, "Hey, where's Kevin?" And I was like, I'm not sure." And like I thought it was just like some guy with the hotel. Turns out it's the CEO of Costco. So
Wait. So
yeah.
Sam is CEO of Costco.
Yeah, he was there. I was like, they were just like, they're having a meeting because the company that was, so it was for Bertello.
Hmm.
Bertello's, it was a company that Kevin invested in. It's a pizza, rotating pizza oven. And so basically, they were having a meeting with Costco to get them into like retail stores. And so they're just like, well, since he's here, let's get a shoot in. And yeah. But yeah, it went good. They loved the content, and yeah, then I got to work with them another time. I had a lot more preparation.
Nice. Because
Hmm.
I was like doing some research on what you've worked with because your website looks great, dude. Like,
Oh, thanks,
um,
man.
but it is a nightmare trying to type in everyone's name as the thing like scrolls by. You're like,
I
God damn.
know. I told him, my web developer, Natish, I'm like, bro, we got to either slow it down or have one section that's just all the people we've worked with.
I mean, it looks great. It looks really good. It's professional. It's a quality funnel. Like I saw it immediately went, okay, this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about, and that's some good work. God dang. But okay, so have you like you met the CEO of Costco, Kevin O'Leary, Real
Mhm.
Housewives? how did that
That one's really cool. I think another one that's not even on there is I was filming at a house party that Togi threw. That might
okay?
be especially for the fitness industry, which there was like the Nelk Boys were there with like Steve and all of them. That was really cool. That was probably to me because I've been in the fitness industry since I was a kid. I thought that was a lot cooler. But the housewives, they were so nice. I mean, they're so depends, right? So this is for a telehealth company. It was a GLP ones. And so basically they're doing a collab and the first one they flew her out and we get to the typically this guy I tell him I go if there's anything especially for these big shoots I need time because I'll take 2 hours setting up the scene to make it
Mhm.
how I want, kind of really like find like the plant. Should it be 2 inches over, 2 inches this way? Like it'll everything. And we get there, traffic. It was in Hollywood area. But getting there, the traffic, it was supposed to take 2 hours. It took three. So he's like, you have 45 minutes to set up. So I was setting everything up. This one I was still, because it was in California, and at the time I was based there, I had like a whole gaffing team that was setting up the lighting. So, but we had to get everything set up. So they walked in. That one's actually really funny because we got the place off Pier Space, and the lady didn't clean up that much. And so peer space, for you guys who aren't familiar, is pretty much people rent out their houses if they have cool houses or like cool spaces and they let you come and shoot there. So she still had like Chinese food in the kitchen and it smelled like it. And so it was this one was Margaret Josephs from was it Real Housewives of New Jersey? And she walks in, she goes, "Oh my God, it smells like Chinese food here." And she didn't know the owner was upstairs. And she was
So
like talking mad shit about it.
so they don't actually own the houses that they film at. They go on a site
So
and they
this was for the ad.
okay.
This is for the ad, yeah.
So oh wow. Okay,
hmm
so it's for the app. That was um okay. Okay.
Yeah, but the houses, it's at their houses. So so I shoot with her every 3 months. I'm supposed to shoot it with her on the 14th, but she's actually coming out. But typically we fly out to New York and then we go and we do like a whole shoot at her house because if you've seen her house, it's super funky, and pretty much every room is its own set, which is re makes it really easy.
Okay. Sick. So you've gotten that's pretty crazy. And then you've worked with the fitness industry for I guess is that your staple, like your mainstay? Like I love fitness industry.
So it was initially the issue with it is it didn't have as much ROI as some other big corporations do. So I started out doing that initially, just doing kind of like a lot of bodybuilding content. And I think my first shoot was two bodybuilders. I think it was $50. I was like, yeah, bro, I'll shoot you. I like just got a camera. And then I was heavy into that. I got to shoot with, for Jay Cutler's brand was pretty cool. And then, yeah, I went into there and it kind of just like transitioned to whichever companies get the highest ROI is what I typically tend to focus on.
Mm,
So for me right now, it's telehealth and pool construction companies because their average ticket price is super high.
right on. So you've gone from how long have you been working in the industry? So you've started like when?
Ooh, I think it's been about 4 years-ish.
4 years.
hmm
Damn. Okay. So in just 4 years, you've gone from absolutely like I'm guessing you've probably done like videography before, right? Like have you been filming or like
So I think I got my first camera about 4.5 years ago.
your first? Okay. So you've gone from total newbie who didn't know jack
Yeah.
shit to like I'm filming with Real Housewives. I'm filming with Jay Cutler. I'm filming with
hmm
Kevin O'Leary on multiple projects, by the way. Like I've
Yeah.
seen your like and like wow. So how long did it take you to get from 0 to 1? Like what was your first customer?
So my first main customer was in the solar industry. So before I started doing any type of marketing, I did door-to-door sales. And from there, I got like first official customer monthly retainer. From doing door-to-door sales, I got a camera and was like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do for sure. And then I had a solar company reach out and they're like, hey, um, are you able to film YouTube videos? Because they knew me from door knocking. And I was like, yeah, I can give it a try. And so initially it was just filming the content. And at that time, I mean, I was doing 4 videos a month and I was just maxed out with just that. And they ended up, I was with them for about a year and a half-ish, year and a half, 2 years. And we grew them to the biggest recruiting funnel in the industry. Uh-oh, says my internet's unstable.
It's probably mine. We have dodgy internet over here.
Oh, you're good.
It's so sad, but I think I have Xfinity, and I think Xfinity likes me, but fuck, I have no idea.
It says we're good now though. We're good.
Hey, it'll do that where it's like, hey, are you sure you're paying attention?
Yeah.
Hey,
But no,
hey.
so yeah, it started there, and then basically, we grew. I was able to grow them really big, and it was filming, and then eventually went from just 4 videos to then they wanted 5 shorts, and then from 5 shorts, it eventually ramped up to where we were doing 8 long forms a month, and around 4 or 5 new posts a day for shorts, and 4 reposts. So we're posting about 9 times a day.
Okay, so you've gone from 4 videos a month, and
Mhm.
that's maxed you out to
That's
you're
max.
posting 5 shorts a day.
Yeah. So from there, it was just building a team to be able to take on, like, because I knew I was like, this can't scale that far if it's just me. So first person I got was a editor, and then I got an account manager to do the posting. So then basically I was just filming a ton, and then it'd upload, and then they just edit it and put it out.
All right, so like on a timeline, this is month one. You're maxed out with four. You've done four
Uh-huh.
videos over the course of a month
Mhm.
for solar, and then by like month, what month are we at when it comes
I
to
would say probably around month 10
okay,
or month 10, about a year of doing just the 4 long form videos and then putting them up. And it was like, I mean, I'll nitpick stuff. So I'd say 20, 30 hours per long form. So it was like full week. And every week would just be dedicated to that video.
so you
And
spent
it,
you spent the equivalent of a part-time job on each video you posted.
mhm. Yeah,
Fuck,
because and we'd have like revision rounds. Yeah, it was a lot.
okay, okay. This is good though. This is good. This is good for
Uh-huh.
like people who are just starting out.
Yeah, initially the first startup is super difficult getting it to transition into more of like a from a freelancer into more of like a set system is the biggest thing. That's the hardest hurdle.
Yeah, so you've gone from so when it comes to like getting the initial like first thing, you've got one through a relationship, your start, and then now
Mhm.
that you know, was what was your main channel for getting new people? Was it reaching out through DMs? Was it
Great, yeah,
email?
great. So initially, I was like, so once that guy got super big, all the other solar companies, so we'd walk around at like door-to-door con or solar con, and these other companies would be like, oh, you're the one behind their channel, because they were getting like maybe 10-ish recruits a day, 10 to 20. And so and everyone, the industry, solar industry, for people who don't know, isn't very big. So it was hyper targeted because especially with YouTube, I think I really felt it's built off of Google now. So Google, as everyone knows, is all SEO optimized. So YouTube videos, as long as you position it correctly and you make everything kind of cohesive, similar to like a website, like every YouTube video, as long as it's ranking for the right keywords and such, you can target people really specifically. But because of that, most of the industry had seen their page, and from there they started reaching out to me, trying to poach me. But at the time, I was like, no, I'm just with them. And then eventually, that company started going out of business because the owner had some, we can say, personal issues.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of interesting how that works out. Like the amount of times I've seen businesses go down because the owner has issues is
Yeah, it
wild.
was it got interesting towards the end. But anyway, from there then I started accepting other solar companies, and then after that it was touching more into like the fitness influencer space, and I was going pretty heavy in that. The issue with working with influencers is they can get it for free, and they'll tell you that they're like, I can get this for a lot cheaper, and you just got to be like, I know you can, but this is way better quality. But the problem is people they kind of have, unfortunately, most of them have a really big ego. So they're like, well, I can get it for free. I'll only pay you this much. And it was just kind of like a haggle
Yeah.
on every video. So I was like, this isn't worth it. And especially now with clipping, like we offer clipping now, but it's not our main focus. But a lot of them, they just want you to film really like pretty much all day, and then you just upload it all on one timeline and let the clippers just cut it all up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Hmm.
sense because I mean workouts can go for like an hour, 2 hours even if it's like a serious workout channel.
Yeah.
And so, I mean that sounds like a super. You have a lot of sales conversations you have to navigate with those. So that
Hmm.
makes sense why those aren't a super targeted audience. And
Yeah.
you've worked with people like Togi and Jay Cutler. So what was it like
Mhm.
filming for Jay Cutler for that? So
So Jay Keller, I wasn't with him. I was filming, it was a whole product shoot. So it was basically, it was cool. They're very hands off. They're just like, hey, here's the product, send us back what you get. He was one of my first, I worked with him before the solar. So before I even launched, when I was just doing more like freelance stuff.
what the fuck?
I know that one was really lucky.
How?
So basically I was doing photos. My brother does fitness modeling. And so they sent him a couple products, and I was like, oh dude, I'll shoot them as an ambassador. You know how they reach out. And so initially I did a couple shoots with them, and they really liked that content. So they sent us their brand new launch. They're like, hey, here's how much we'll pay you if you just put the content out. And so him and I worked together on just filming or taking a bunch. At that time, it wasn't even videos; it was just photos. And so then we took a photo, and they put on their website. It was their main launch photo for the whole thing. And that, looking back, is like I should have charged like way more.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you done more work with Jay and that and his team before or after?
No, so after that, he was kind of a one and done. After I hadn't reached out yet because I got really heavy into the solar space.
Nice. So
Hmm.
you've gone in the span of like a month when you first started to working with
Hmm.
Jay Cutler, like his product line, solar
So
stitching.
that was even before like I started officially starting. That was just kind of when I was messing around with the camera.
Again, like, but you got that through relationships though.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. So it looks like if I were to break down your main channels for like how you actually market and how you get people to like buy, it's through initially it's through relationships and then later it's through outreach.
Yeah. So at the beginning, it was all just kind of letting my work speak for itself, and people just seeing it and being like, oh, whatever they're doing, I want to work with you. Um, and then later on, I would say maybe around the end of year two, I started building out more of like funnels, and then kind of doing paid ads, especially through Meta, and then pushing them through that way.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to get it. So what's the like DM process like? How do you get, let's say you're starting out totally cold. Like what is the
Um,
process there?
if so, anytime it's really cold,
Hmm.
I like to do test ads. So especially it's kind of like I'll pivot a lot because of kind of demand and especially nowadays, how the economy is doing. Whoever is currently taking off. So when I say telehealth, the recent one has been a lot of peptides, and then so like GLP-1s and anything in that realm, just because it is such like a bull market for them right now, and it's a really good return because they honestly have kind of an unlimited budget for marketing. Because if you know anything about telehealth agents, like companies, all they are is a giant marketing firm that pushes back to other doctors to then prescribe them, and then they have a fulfillment center, whether that's like compounding pharmacy or like whatever. And so it's just basically a marketing agency in itself. And so they
Yeah.
understand like it's all about branding, looking really professional, and credibility. So that's why they'll work with a lot of influencers and like celebrities is all just to really push that. And yeah, so it's always um, it's really just figuring out where the best ROI is currently, and right now it's been and being able to pivot.
Okay. So when it comes to getting like customers for very different industries, do you lead with the site first and then go into like so you go, oh, hey, come to my site, and then like bring them in, or what's the process?
So the funnel right now, which has been my best performing one, is just Instagram forms.
Hmm.
So we'll run ads and they'll go into the form, and then from the form they then go into my GHL, and inside Go High Level I have the initial follow-up campaign, which is typically around 7 days. It's a combination of SMS, email, and voicemail drops. So it'll like I'm sure you've got a call where you should go to answer and it immediately goes to voicemail. So it's basically that, but it's a pre-recorded voice note that I send them.
Okay.
And then so on top of that, then we have a um, appointment setter that's just kind of monitoring it to see if they respond. And if they respond, then he will take the conversation over from that. I tried AI bots and AI callers, and it's I haven't tried it in the last like probably 6 months, but when I did try it, it was just not quite there, especially the voice, unless you tell them in advance, hey, this is an AI caller, but then the drop off rate was super high.
Yeah, because they're
But
usually
then
like, oh, you don't have the time for me as a human being.
yeah, exactly. So it's like a little more personal and customizes kind of I like to have fun with all of my customers, so I want them to know that they're just not just another number. So I think starting that from out the gate with customized, like really more of like a genuine conversation. I try to not be very pushy and just because I think the issue is it the leads that you're or the market you're running to for your whatever your ICP is only a small percentage is ready to buy then and there. And I think
Hmm.
it's just kind of especially having tiered packages so that people can start even with like just dipping their toes in and seeing that it is a good return for them because I'm very like ROI focused, seeing that it is a good return for them, then eventually working with them to get to the whatever the highest package is. So that's kind of always the goal. And I always tell people, I'm like, let's start out at the smallest package so that then we can build more like credibility with you and you know that like what we're doing works and we're really doing our very best job.
Hmm.
And then I have it all tiered and itemized so we just increase up to their packages.
Right on. I mean, as a customer, like I would feel a lot safer if I'm like, oh, well, you're just trying to get a bunch of money at me. Like you
Mhm.
are, but in like the longer term, not in the shorter
Yeah,
term.
long term. Yeah, that's kind of the always the motto that I try to follow.
Nice. I mean, always thinking long term is super important. So I've done some research. So let me just go ahead and bust out my notes because now we're at the point where I'm asking good questions. Um, what's your process for testing marketing messages before launch?
Ooh, so I don't actually handle those. So my partner does.
Okay.
So I met him through, so he does all the paid media. His name's Anthony. And so because just keeping quality high, I like to focus more on just the content side of it. And then he's a master at like the paid media side. And he's also, so for, like I said earlier, we're white labeled with a bunch of different agencies, and that's kind of how we met. Both of our biggest client were both white labeled under him, and we met that way. And so we're working on like, say he was working with like Kevin O'Leary's companies, and same the telehealth companies and all those. So then we're just like, well, for all these other smaller ones, do you want to just partner up for these that the big agency doesn't want to deal with? So that would be a question for him.
That's pretty good. Okay. That's good.
Mhm.
So like you've built a team. Like how many people are on your headcount right now?
I think it's around like 17-ish.
17. Damn.
Mhm.
How much do you guys do a year? Like what's your ARR?
Oh, it's up and down. I would say it's like just I don't it fluctuates between like probably the average is 40 to like 60,000 ish a month. But again, switching industries and pivoting really does determine that, you
That's
know.
pretty good though.
Like yeah. But we have The issue that I think people and not enough people talk about is they just talk about kind of what's your average monthly income. No one really talks about how much expenses you have. And there's the dream of like, you have all this money come in and you keep it, say like if you especially when you're transitioning out of a 9 to 5, people don't really understand that the amount that you keep is really determined by how efficient the company runs. And
Yeah,
so, really, my goal, especially with how everything's leading towards more AI, is to just really optimize everything to be as efficient as possible. So, I even tell all the employees, I'm like, we can't hand the client copy from AI, but what we can do is, get all of the key concepts down, and then we always want the human touch on it. But that way, it does still speed up stuff.
yeah. No, AI does it like the way best to describe it, like how AI works when it comes to building stuff is it's like you're trying to paint a canvas. AI is really good at getting a lot of paint on the canvas, but the artist has to come back and like actually do revisions.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Um, like totally get it. It's not perfect yet, and honestly, even when it comes to writing, it's still pretty, it's
Uh-huh.
right now. But
Yeah. Have you dove at all into like Claude Code?
yeah, yeah. I mean, Claude, honestly, like out of all of them right now, it's my favorite.
Yeah, for sure.
I've totally fired ChatGPT. Like I'm
Me
so
too.
pissed.
Yeah.
It's not even close. It's like like if we were to describe like grade levels, I would say ChatGPT when it comes like writing complex and like nuanced things where this is good writing, it's got emotion behind it, not even close.
Mhm.
If it comes like formatting stuff and getting basic ideas, ChatGPT is really good at that. Um, but honestly, Claude is killing it right now.
Yeah.
I can't even argue.
Anthropic, they just had a release too. They got hacked, which I mean is a little bit of a red flag, right? But
100%.
they got hacked for some of their new releases coming out, and they're very close to like AGI with some of the releases that I was like, oh, I don't
I
know.
mean, I wouldn't
Hopefully
say
they
they're
got under
close. They're
wraps.
probably maybe like 20 years away from AGI, like maybe 10.
You think?
If I'm being serious, yeah. If we're being real, because
All the
right now,
all the quotes on it were saying within the next couple of years.
no.
You don't think so? I'm not developing an AI like an AI diet app, so
Yeah, okay. Like if we were to really get into it, because the thing with Claude is like Claude's really good. It's got skills now, which is nice. Like that's a
uh-huh.
plus. If you think about how AGI works, AGI is like autonomous intelligence,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's intelligence that can do its own thing. The best way to describe like artificial intelligence is like the capacity for solving problems,
Hmm.
and so you have a hyper intelligent supercomputer that's blind, deaf, and like can't speak and can't speak,
Uh-huh.
right? And so it's got no context. So you as the user have to put context into the machine,
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
And
And it's
so
it's
it's
all
like, okay,
indexing, right?
yeah. So it's just going, okay, point, 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 and that's all it's doing. And then trying to find
Okay.
relationship
That's a
between those.
relief to hear, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it is, but also isn't because like you kind of get to the point where if you know what you're doing, you're like, this is terrifying. If you don't know what you're doing, like this is terrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's why you're better off. I don't. How do I describe it? Like understanding the tools that are being used because it's just like the same thing happened when the internet first came out. Like people were
Hmm.
like, "Oh my god, the internet should be not privatized. It shouldn't have businesses running on it." And
Yeah.
then now we're here filming a podcast on it and like building our entire businesses off of this thing. Like
Yep.
same thing with like reading and bicycles back in the day. Like bicycle face was a real thing. I was listening to David Senra's podcast yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and it was like bicycle face. What the fuck is bicycle face? Turns out, back when bicycles first came out and were invented, people were like to keep people from like going to the other town next door on their bike. We're like, oh, if you ride a bicycle too long, you'll have this very like strained face on,
No
and
way.
people have stuck like that forever. And that's like, I mean, it's people are just afraid of new technology. Like the
Yeah.
first person getting
Hmm.
fired probably got shot. Like,
For sure. Yeah, that's
you know,
witchcraft to them.
it's like holy shit. So, I mean, in some ways, you're like, this is ridiculous, but it's also like this is normal. you know,
Yeah.
it's a normal phenomenon. But I think people just need to like respect the fact that um, like understanding can help solve the problem of like, oh well, I don't get how this thing works. Because
Yeah.
motherfuckers do not know use AI, and it's crazy.
No. Yeah. It's like I think most people you ask me like, are you diving into like are you on it using AI? They're like, oh yeah, I talk to ChatGPT all the time. You're like, well, It's not quite the same, but I understand where you're coming from.
I mean, even when they're like, "Oh, I totally know how to use AI. AI, like we can use it for my vacation plans." Like
Yeah.
that's it. No,
Like you got Booking.com, bro. They got a chatbot right there.
oh, I mean, Calendly. Like, I mean, there's um, AI is so it's good at a couple things, but like, dude, um, you still need
That
to like
personal touch, yeah.
yeah. I mean, even when it comes to like building an app, like you can build an app, sure, but you'll have like bugs functioning. Like you have to make the
Hmm.
thing function. Um,
Yeah.
Now the tools are so good now that it's you can build a whole company in a month.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Did you see the first single employee billion-dollar company? They just did it.
I did not see that.
It was a guy in a telehealth company. He built the entire thing. He's like in his 40s. It was like this is like recent, like last couple days it came out. And
Okay,
I don't think he's not at a million, but that's what his evaluation is at.
evaluations are bullshit. You know how evaluations of companies work
Yeah.
out? The motherfuckers
Is
literally just
that
put their finger up in the wind and go like, let's see which way the wind's blowing."
really?
That's how evaluations work. They
Yeah.
go, "Here's three times what you're making in a year." Oh wait, but I'm like $1 million company. Oh, but we're AI. We can scale hell fast.
And they're like, oh, okay.
But then you like command. It's insane. It's. I mean,
As long as you
it's
can sell for that much, we'll go with that.
sure, but like, I mean, there's a point where it's silly, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
where you're like, okay, dude,
Causes a bubble.
and that's what we're seeing now in the market. Is
Uh-huh.
like there's all these, um, like ChatGPT is starting to kind of head to that, and like,
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
you gotta make the shift, dude. Like Anthropic's kind of kicking ass right now in the marketplace, but it's because they lost a bunch of government contracts, and so they need money.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
I didn't
shit
know that.
happens. That's the rule. Stay out of that shit, man. It's a no win game. It's a
Oh
no win.
yeah. Yep.
I have a couple more questions here for you since we're talking about it.
Heck yeah.
How do you identify your ideal customer profile?
Oof. Okay, so really each customer, they already kind of got a general concept. And it depends if they're at the start or if they're at the end, because I think it does pivot over time and it develops. So especially with working with so with my main client base, they've typically been running for a little bit, and so they have a general idea. But then what we'll do is, especially based off running ads on Meta, you really can kind of take a look at all of it's just compiling the data that they have from all of their previous customers and really just fine tuning it off of that. And I know because Anthony and I will talk about that you can take a lot of customers don't really understand how well pixels work. And so when you have a pixel going properly, it's going to record, say, you put a new ad creative up and you're scrolling and you even stop and hold it. There's a hold rate inside and it'll track all of that, how long they're on it, every single aspect. And then that pixel has all the data for every single person. And from there, then it'll give you back and kind of target that person for you.
So,
But so it's a
so
combination of that, and then kind of letting Andromeda and Meta help guide you with that, and
okay,
then it'll be figuring out. So, say if it's a service, a lot of them are service-based clients. Figuring out who's going to have the biggest pain points for their specific service offer and where it can be leveraged the most.
okay. So let's say I'm doom scrolling,
Hmm.
right, on Instagram, and I stop and I see a fitness content video. I'm like, ooh,
Hmm.
what's the recipe here? So I hold to stop the video from playing to read the
Yeah,
recipe that's on the thing or whatever the ingredients
it'll
are.
track it.
It'll track that,
Yeah, so
and
track so
and
on
then
doom scrolling and
yeah,
also on the ads, both.
okay,
So from doom scrolling, it creates your like identity, like what you're interested in, and it's so good nowadays that especially like even say like you'll see your algorithm change like even from week to week. Like you can get say because like I'm sure a lot of people can relate to if you like are getting a relationship or you have a breakup, you're gonna start seeing like those videos about it within like a couple days to a week or so because
So
it's tracking all of anything on the app, and then it'll go in, and then it pretty much will start leaning towards that aspect, and then it'll categorize you as a customer as someone who's interested in that.
okay. So what you're saying is because my like and I imagine a lot of other people have this idea as well. Whenever they have a breakup, whenever something goes down, and they start talking about it around their phone,
Mhm.
they just happen to like that's a real thing. I know that is
So it is for TV ads. So Hulu, if you actually look at the terms and services, they're allowed to listen in through your microphone. On social media, though, they don't actually need to do that. There's some theories that, because you know how your phone takes photos of you every, I think it's 5 seconds.
it's insane. Yeah, as you're
Yeah,
they
it's it's apparently it's to keep track of your biometric data, but a lot like there's some speculation that they're pulling that into it to see what you're looking at exactly.
yeah.
I'm not I mean that's really high up, like you got to be really deep in meta
I don't
to know
know
if
either.
that's true or not.
I think they're also looking at facial expression. So if I smile during a
Oh
video,
yeah,
they're
for sure.
thinking, like, oh, this video's hilarious. But I'm because like the amount of information you get from any amount of data, like a face can
Hmm.
tell you 1,000 things.
Yeah.
There's like humans are very obvious. Like this whole thing is designed to communicate to another human being. Here's my entire emotional state. Read it,
Mhm.
which is fucking insane.
It's a little scary. I mean, it's great for me because it makes things way easier, especially with like um, the Andromeda like update. But it's for like consumers, it's a little rough, but it does make
Yeah,
my job easier. So
for sure. I mean, it's kind of crazy, like the amount of stuff where like, oh, I have no idea that this was even happening.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I see why people would just close up shop and go to the woods and like don't even. I
Yeah,
get it.
yep.
Um,
And especially with like a lot of the amount of censorship they put on stuff nowadays, it's really tough to figure out what is real, what's not, especially because they have all your data. So you're like, I have no, and with all the again AI generated stuff, it's getting better and better. So you're just like, is this like the whole? Iran was putting out a fair amount of like propaganda, which I was like, all right, guys, like play ball about like the strikes that they were doing.
it's insane because even if like it would be so easy to go okay because like the way people kind of operate is like we have our own perspective, we have our own universe, like our own sphere
Mhm.
of understanding, right? And so the thing with AI is that's really where it's like this is insane, and this is where I even if you're pro AI or against it, this is where you
Uh-huh.
would be afraid because it can understand that entire sphere of like understanding. Go okay,
Mhm.
what does this person know? What do they not know? And
Yeah,
how that's but yeah,
it's a lot, dude.
dude, it's like yeah, no, being you have to be really like high functioning to like operate in sanity, but
Yeah. I
um,
think I think there's a lot of high operators that are just like nervous nowadays, or there's the whole demographic that's just straight up ignorance is bliss, and I mean that is nice too.
I don't know. I disagree. I think the amount of like because you have to be really like conscious with your stuff because
Hmm.
if you aren't kind of understanding of how if you're not able to train your algorithm
Hmm.
manually or even consciously, it'll train you, and then that's a dangerous thing because then you're like super susceptible to like propaganda stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
and I feel like free thinking is a thing that we need to focus on as a like society. But
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents, and then I'm shutting the fuck up after that because no. My plan is to get rich and fuck off. Like that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
like I'm gonna go chill, be normal for a while, like do what Dave Chappelle did and like move to Idaho. You
Uh-huh.
know. Um, okay. Tell me about the time that you launched a product without preparing. So like you properly didn't prepare, or you were like way in over your head as far as like the amount of stuff that you had to do as far
Ooh,
as
I would say that's been with I wouldn't say I think most launches we've been pretty prepared. Um, but I would say some shoots that I wasn't prepared for is there's a couple like especially with that one company that I'm white labeled under where I'm friends with him, me and Anthony are white labeled under him. He will oftentimes be like, "Hey, you want to come to wherever, like New York?" And then we'd show up and he's like, "Oh, it's just a quick meeting." I'm like, "Where's it at?" He goes, "Oh, it's on a TikTok or Google headquarters with one of the account managers for the who's all and then the manager for the entire branch." And I'm just sitting there like, I don't do the paid ads. I'm just here to I just do all the content and he'll be like, "Just make up a story, like whatever." So I'd
what?
say that's the only times I've been like felt like over my head. The rest of it, any production or anything like that, um, I try to make sure everything's really dialed in, like every possibility, because that is the biggest hurdle when it comes to production is showing just preparation, not prepare or what is it? Uh, Failure to prepare is like planning to fail. So and there's a lot of like lot of things that can go wrong on a shoot. So yeah.
Okay, so wait, Google headquarters.
Mhm.
Can you get here by like what's the timeline? Do you just get like, hey, it's tomorrow, and then
Same,
you're
no,
here
it's
like
same day. It's like an hour
same day?
before. Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
the thing
god.
is, I always forget how high of a level this guy's operating. So he primarily just does TikTok. TikTok
Mhm.
Shop is his specialty. I think he's the third biggest in the world for doing for a TS. It's called TSP, a TikTok Shop partner. And
Right.
so we'll go we'll go to some of his meetings and like him and I are like genuine like good friends. So we'll go out and he'll be like, "Oh, you just want to." Sometimes I'm not even like working. It's just to go hang out with him in another state. And yeah, I forget like just the level of like the people that you're meeting with there is like so high. You're like, okay. He's the same one for Kevin O'Leary. But yeah, I would say that was a lot. I think meeting with the Google headquarters in New York was well, was pretty intense. I'd say the TikTok one was even more because he told me to be a he offers a service called pretty much offering companies TikTok lives. He has a live studio where there's a bunch of different lives going on and he has like set backgrounds. I'm sure you've seen it. And so he's like, yeah, just say you're the manager of that so that you can like get in. And they start asking me questions about it. I'm like, dude, why the
Well,
hell did you add me to do this?
hi, I'm Mr. Super Important. What's it going on? Like,
Yeah,
oh, I
exactly. I'm like, and
that's exactly
they're
yeah.
managing like, I think so. New York, I forget. I think they manage the, gosh, don't quote me. They're kind of sectioned off. So like Austin I don't know if Austin is shop specifically. I think it's shop specifically. And then New York is more creator and like TSP help. But yeah, anyway, it was like the manager of all of America for that division was there. I was like, look, I got through, and he said I did really good. So I was like, just from like being around it a lot. But yeah, that's the
Oh,
only times I
amazing.
felt like really unprepared.
Dude, like I would be shitting bricks for at least the first part of that meeting and be like,
I tell him,
what?
I was like, don't ever do. I go, you can't do that again. I go, they can ask me anything about media and like creating ads or like organic or kind of strategy around that. Um, and I'm good, but these random side things I can't do.
But it's like the third. Oh, that's crazy. It's like the third or
And
fourth interview.
it was like in the so make it even worse, like the whole kind of perspective on this is it was in Times Square in the one of the tallest buildings there, I think on the like 90th floor or something, the very top. So you're looking down at Times Square and we're in an office like conference room. I was like, this is a lot.
Whenever like that. First of all, holy shit, that's cool. Second of
Uh-huh.
all, like, that's the same idea everyone has when they think, what does successful look like? It's some motherfucker up on like the top floor of whatever, overlooking
Yeah.
some skyscraper. That's crazy.
Yep.
Holy cow, dude! Like, okay, so like this is not on the list of things, but what has
Uh-huh.
been your is that your favorite field trip from your adventures as an entrepreneur?
No, I'd say shooting a music video in Japan was pretty sick.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, and
Okay.
for me, because I love traveling, I was like, that's really cool. In terms of like what people would be like, that's crazy. It was probably, yeah, the trips to New York are, they're just, it's again for the mainly the telehealth, and then meetings with the companies like the Google, Meta, Bing, whatever, TikTok. Those ones are really cool because it's kind of like it's exactly like in the movies where you fly there first class, you get there, you get out into like an Uber Black Escalade, and then they take you to your suite in Times Square. Then you go to your meetings, you come back, and then it's like everywhere you drive is just black, and then you go shoot with like a celebrity, come back, go to a couple meetings at like Google or whatever, have a dinner with like the CEO, and then you take back to the airport first class back home.
Wow,
Those ones have been like, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
it's pretty tight. Like,
Uh,
and in less than 4 years, by the way. Like,
mhm.
that's crazy. So 4.5 years in total has been your entire
Yeah,
career so far.
yep. Yeah,
Holy
just
shit, dude. Um, wow. Okay, okay. Like frame of reference here. Like that is, you've gone from, I'm kind of working with Solar City, maybe, or like some solar company. Um,
it was I did pretty much all the big ones in the solar industry. Yeah.
okay, all right. Well, we're using you as a reference for a lot of things going forward. Let's see. Um, biggest. Let's see. Oh, this one's personal. So this one's as me
Mhm.
as a CEO of NutriCompass. Um, for us as a business, what do you think is our biggest hurdle for the next 6 to 12 months?
I would say getting that initial base, getting the getting the base set up to be able to to set up operations like automatic, like automate kind of your operations. I think is the base. Let me clarify, kind of the base of customers and have that initial like revenue stream that you're like, okay, we're going to use this to get everything else going. I would say getting that and kind of, it's kind of like that's where all the brunt like marketing comes in, like DMs, cold emails, like partnerships. I think for you guys would be really good some affiliate offers for personal trainers, which you talked about you're doing. I think getting that up, but I think it'll ramp up like quick once that's kind of established. That because then you'll go more into like paid media, and that is where it's especially for um, a lower ticket service. It's substantially harder for me to get leads because it's such a high ticket offer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, but with low ticket, the click through on that, people are just like, and it's like I think the whole health space is off of one of the biggest pain points is insecurities. So I think that'll be really easy to start ramping up if in terms of for like paid media and content creation for that.
Right. So, like, what would you say? Would you say like our ideal? Because I know that targeting the person's identity, or
Mhm.
targeting, an identity of a ideal person, would be ideal for like the launch sequence. But
Mhm.
like me personally, I struggled with weight a lot as a kid. 16, I started working
Yeah.
out. 9 years later, I ended up doing a bodybuilding show. You know, did pretty
Heck
well after
yeah.
that, and then started like this whole nutrition journey through that, through my
Mhm.
education. And then I've been like obsessed with like finding for diet ever since.
Yeah.
So like I have an identity as an individual, but like how do I
Mhm.
target identity as a like if as a customer?
So I think that for me, I always want to. I kind of have like a couple rules of thumb. It's got to have um, you can pivot wherever. They have to have a really high pain. It's kind of like what Hormozy says. A lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to find them. That's the issue. So that's why I think what you're doing with B2B initially is really good because easy to target and they have an issue. Because doing more of B2C is that's where you really have to fine tune stuff and understand. which pain point and levers to pull in order for to kind of increase that CTR, which it will be more of like more market research.
Yeah, because one of my questions I was going to ask you next was, because right now we are developing, and as
Mhm.
developers, we're like, oh, well, we should work on everything. So I want to ask you, like, should we work on the B2C first? Should we work on the B2B first, or should we do both at the same time?
I would say so at the start, work on B2B as a base. So for me, when I was going, I was a little inverse, but if I were to kind of start again, I would definitely start with offering white labeling to agencies first because it's very consistent. They get the leads for you. It kind of takes a lot of the strain off of it, and that word of mouth usually travels. I would say the each person they talk to instead of being say like one customer talks to another customer, it's like okay, you have two customers. But when it's agency to agency, it's compounding. So one person talking to another person, they might have 10 clients, they might have 20 clients. So it's a lot easier to get the bottom baseline going. So I would say start with B2B, get a good foundation, and then then I think from there, once you have something set, then transition to more B2C and then just go really hard at that because you have that base already built.
That feels really good to me because that,
Hmm.
you know, as you know, and I'm sure you can understand. Like at some point, you've been like, I know I'm right. I'm sure I'm
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then you're like, thank you for having this opinion. It's the correct option to pick.
Yeah,
Or
it
it's
is.
a right opinion. Um, that's beautiful. Okay, this one's a really good. This is like the last one, I promise. As far as like not the end of the world and AI shit, because we're
Yeah,
not talking about that today.
yeah.
For
I know,
real,
I'm learning.
dude. It's insane. Because well, before I get to the last one, so
Hmm.
it'll calculate points, right? AI will like calculate a point, and then it will have to reason back to why that's the correct answer. So it's really cool
Interesting.
with
Okay.
AI models because you'll be able to go, oh well, here's the correct answer. Here's what you got. Why didn't you get the correct answer here? And that's how, yeah,
For every connection. Oh man.
yes,
Yeah, that's a lot for every thought. And it's like,
hmm
and at A to B, they can have multiple like misconceptions about it too that you have to train just that one A to B point. Oh man,
exactly.
that's why it takes so long.
Yeah, but what happens is like, okay, if you're trying to build a model, you're better off having the correct way. If you, like, just like how you train an individual, right? Let's
Hmm.
say you have a newbie who has no idea what the fuck they're doing, right? You get this stack of shit that's good, and I mean, you
Hmm.
get what good looks like. From there, you go, okay, how do we get you to produce what this looks like?
Hmm.
And that's the training process. You're
That's a
welcome.
lot. That's a
That's,
lot.
but like, it's such a simple concept, but it's like motherfuckers don't know how to use that shit, and it's
Yeah.
annoying. It's why
Yeah.
the fuck not? Um, it's all good. I'll be applying to whatever position of like training AI after this is over.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, this one's good. Community building. So let's say someone starts at the first post. What from that journey gets them to become a like community member? You know, like total stranger
It,
to community member.
and then you mean just like kind of like in the industry, say like to be.
Let, let's do like target audience. So like let's say you know you're just making content on Instagram. You're just starting
Mhm.
out. How do I get someone who is just kind of a passerby seeing my content to I really fuck with this dude's content.
So I think one of the biggest, I always think there's two types of content. Sometimes you can convert them, you can have a really good piece that is both. So for all of my clients, I have engagement content and then I have converting content. And so one is just designed to get as much impressions as possible. And then the goal with that is usually I like to lead with humor because at the end of the day, people are on social media to get a dopamine hit. And every time they're scrolling, like especially nowadays, it is a lot of memes. Memes are like funny kind of perspective concepts about like scenarios that are like quirky. And so I think getting that journey of getting to be a customer is having the right content pillars. So you start like make sure you have a solid foundation for getting the engagement content, and it'll take a while. I always tell people it's not an overnight thing, it's a lot of testing. And so start with the engagement content, get that dialed in, and then the I like to think of especially in terms of content, it's kind of like an email sequence. So you have to make sure you hit the right pain points with each concept, with each piece of content. And especially from my background in door-to-door sales, I like to hit potential objections. So for like credibility, we're gonna make sure they have testimonials. And often the best testimonial will have pinned uh, in their content. And then say if there's any misconceptions, address those. And so it's slowly churning them. But once you have the correct, you have all those pillars covered and people really again, has to be entertaining. But on the sales side of it, that journey, I think is very important to treat it like any type of sale where you need to address all the common misconceptions, any build credibility, make sure they like you for you and kind of differentiate yourself without being too on the nose. So kind of I think a lot of people are really on the nose being like this company sucks, or I mean this sucks, we're better in this way, or it's just kind of like saying I want to with all the content saying something without saying something, kind of like inferring stuff. But yeah, that's what I always say for content is treat it like a nurture list.
Okay. So when it comes to like building that nurture content and building that high
Hmm.
engagement content, we have like for I'm just going to keep using my company as an example.
Hmm.
When it comes to building that nurture content or the high engagement content, what would you suggest we do for like for that?
So I have a whole process set up for this. Basically, what we do is on the onboarding form, we have
Mm-hmm.
companies fill out their ID, like their three to four favorite accounts that are have had a lot of success in their specific industry. Then what we do is we go through and we go through their pages and we find all of their best performing content, and we'll do around 30 to 50 pieces of their best performing content. So most people they have somewhere around 30. It'll be any content that stands out as like that piece of content did really good and its engagement's funny. And then we make a huge list of all of it, so it'll be everything. And then go that through all the companies that they sent us. And from there, then we could do the content plan. And we kind of, based off the form, kind of how they tell how they want their company to be viewed, gives us kind of a box of where we can operate in. So some companies, it's actually pretty far, and kind of, especially nowadays, the farther you go in terms of humor, often the better it does perform. So it gives us a little bit more leeway. But from all of the best performing content, I think the pillars shouldn't be built off of speculation, but really just kind of what's already been performing for
Mm-hmm.
in that specific industry. So I like to do market research, get all the data to see what is working currently. And then we take that and we convert it. We figure out first what are the main pillars for this niche, what are the engagement pillars that people are doing, what kind of stuff do they find funny. So say for the pool construction companies, a lot of there's a lot of skits, but I was testing that. The issue with skits though, not skits in a whole, but most of the kinds of skits they were doing, it was more oriented towards a younger audience. So older people found the finance jokes a lot more funny, and they still got great performance. And so we'll kind of tailor it based off that by taking a look at the content. So it'll be that, and then just a ton of testing. So typically with clients, we make their batch content, review it with them, and then we throw everything up on TikTok because it's most of my clients, that's not their main driving factor unless they're doing some sort of product where it can go up on TikTok Shop. So they don't really care too much about TikTok, and we'll use all of the data from that content. So we'll throw everything up quick. We really just it doesn't even have to be fully finished content. It's just like the general idea. Then we see how it performs to see if people do like it. and then from there we make revisions before posting on like Meta or YouTube.
Okay. So
hmm
the reason why you make the finance jokes to target the older folks is because the older folks have
hmm
pools, and so that's your target demographic.
They're the ones buying. Yeah.
Right. Young people, great. They might become pool owners.
They
They
get it.
might not.
Some people like, old souls might find it funny, but it's it really is kind of figuring out um jokes that your ideal customer is going to find funny
Wow, that's kind of
based
cool.
off
So,
what's been working.
so I mean, that's kind of crazy why AI is going to be so dangerous, is because it's going to
hmm
be able to predict what you're going to find funny. And I
hmm
mean, that's like the thing between comedians is that they're just being themselves, and that's what builds their demographic.
Yeah.
But we're like doing it in reverse, where it's this outside trying to figure out what's going to work. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I like to I that's why we just start every time with just a heavy market research for them. And then we'll make sure we run through all those ideas. And usually we can figure out something that works for the client within one round of market research. Sometimes we'll do two, where we go take a look at even more of them and then kind of dilute it down to see what works.
Yeah. Damn, that's like it's layered. It's crazy, but
Yeah.
that's what we're living out.
But I had to kind of like systemize it because in order to offload a lot of the work, it's kind of like, hey, go find good content, make content ideas. It's like gotta have some sort of system to be able to figure it out.
Yeah. How long did it take you to figure out your system for like how you're gonna build
Ooh.
consistent content? What do you do?
I would
Just like
say honestly, probably 2.5 years to where so now it's like I say I do everything, but it's more of like management. Most of the systems, I do management and quality control. Uh, but most of the systems are pretty much fully automated now. But getting to that point, it was a lot of me working like 100-hour weeks. So I'd say probably like maybe a year and a half ago, it got to the point where all the systems are set. Now it's just more like fine tuning those and making sure we have kind of the A players to be able to take care of those and do it to the very best. And the biggest thing for me is they have to care. They have to care that they and know that it's not because a lot of especially I mean they're all over the world and I think the hardest thing to find is someone who takes pride in their work and knows that the results that the client gets is directly related to how the amount of effort and kind of consideration they put into their work.
care is super important for building anything though. Like
hmm
the level of diligence you have to do, it's really is a house of cards at some points. Where
hmm
you're like, I gotta stack it carefully.
Yeah.
Um, okay, wow, this has been a really cool podcast episode, dude.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Like, I mean, this has been, I'm happy with this. Like, this is good. As far as like ways people can keep up with you and what you're doing, and to kind of follow you throughout your journey as an entrepreneur, where can they go to find you?
I would go, it's either just Sam Maken or Maken Media on primarily Instagram, or our website is maken.media.
Sweet. And then if anyone wanted to pester you or bug you for questions, or even to work with you in the future, where would the same thing,
Uh,
Sam Maken Media?
same thing, yeah.
Sweet. Any books you recommend for people who are just starting out to try to become entrepreneurs?
Oh, that's so tough. It really depends on what their end goal is. One of my personal favorites is 5 Hour Work Week by is it Timothy Ferris.
Hmm.
That one, and I think building relationships is really key. And I know it's classic, but How to Win Friends and Influence People. I like that one.
Yeah, sick. Any others?
Um, no, I'd say those are my main two. My favorite one's definitely 5 Hour Work Week because it
Okay.
does help. Just kind of the main message is automating everything and not being a bottleneck in your own company.
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess bonus question. Um, what are you currently automating in your business?
Right now, it's been because we run off a ton of different softwares, and I was actually building out different, kind of connecting them all into a portal. So, kind of just like we have the whole process down, but I want it all in one area. So, I was building out a dashboard and connecting all the different softwares to that. And then, so an operation dashboard for each position, and then a customer portal to make it just even way more streamlined.
Next level shit, dude. That's gonna be crazy. You're gonna go
Yeah.
from 5 to maybe 10 in the next like year or two.
Yeah, that's the goal. Just keep it growing.
Guys, have to be proud of, man. All right. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you, bro.